Alright everyone, welcome back. Gonna be doing another podcast here. It's pay-per-view week, which is always good. Um so this is the earliest I've had a card capped off for a pay-per-view in a long time. This card for me, it was fairly easy to cap anyway. I don't know, just a lot of fights, just fairly easy outcome and stuff in terms of predicting it. But yeah, we'll just get straight into it. Cadiz Ibragimov versus Danilo Marquez. Cadiz Ibragimov, he's 0-3 in UFC. He came over from the M1 circuit. He's an interesting guy. Has a lot of power. Well, I don't even know. He has a lot of power in the first round anyway, it seems. Decent all-round game. Obviously his major flaws, cardio. We've seen that in the Dennis Young fight. We've seen it in the Ed Herman fight. He comes out of the gate quick. Looks to get people out of there in round one. He hasn't really changed that approach since, he's been taking these L's. He's just done whatever's brought him to the dance. Maybe in the Dulidze fight, it's hard to get a read on that one because it was over quite quick, but I'm not sure Ibragimov didn't start as quickly because he respected Dulidze's stand-up, which he should have, or that he had learnt that he's just going to cast himself out if he keeps fighting the way he is. But obviously in the Darius Young fight, he had him in a lot of trouble in round one. He came out like a madman. Just crazy. Threw this big mad combination against the fence and stuff at Darius Young. Not many punches hit, and then after that, he just gassed, and then he ends up getting choked out by a standing guillotine in the third round. Darius Young just survived. He just like Homer Simpsoned him. And then got the obviously guillotine choke in round 3. And then the Ed Herman fight, he just couldn't get Ed out of there. And then obviously Ed took over in rounds 2 and 3, as he does, savvy vet. But in my opinion, Ibragimov has a good fight for him on his hands here in terms of style matchup, but he's so hard to trust. So he is, Ibragimov. If you bet him, you're obviously concerned about him gassing, and also you'd be concerned about maybe his opponent initiating grappling to wear Ibragimov down, obviously with his bad cardio. And I watched some of Marquez's fights. Which one did I watch? I watched the Dennis fight, the LAFA one, and I actually thought Marquez won it. But as I was saying there, if Marquez can initiate the grappling as he did in the Dennis fight up against the cage and stuff, then there is path to victory for him there. But it's whether he can do that or not. I can't see him taking Ibragimov down. Ibragimov, good sambo fighter. He's accomplished in hand-to-hand combat and stuff on the Russian circuit. But Marquez, primarily a jiu-jitsu guy. I can't see him getting Ibragimov down. So his only path to victory for me is wearing out Ibragimov in the first round, especially in regards to maybe, up against the cage, clinch, wearing Ibragimov down that way. But as I said at the start, I think this is a good style matchup for Ibragimov, and honestly I think Marquez's record's a wee bit padded, so it is, because in his fight before his last, he fought a fighter with 0-16 record. So make of that what you will. Like what the hell? Who even is this guy? But he did lose the 6-6 fighter and stuff in 2016, which is never good. Just if you look at his record, like if you stack up the records of his opponents, it equals like a losing amount, which is bad. It's never a good sign, but I have to give it to Ibrahimov here, the win. Marquez isn't really that good in the feet. Ibrahimov probably better in that regard. I just probably a worry about Marquez's his opponent's records probably and stuff. His level of competition, should have said, rather than Ibrahimov gassing out more. So I'll go with Ibrahimov by TKO, which you can get at 7-2 right now, so plus 350, which is quite good. So yeah, but I wouldn't be playing him money line, no way. He's a hard guy to trust, is Ibrahimov, but I'll say Ibrahimov by TKO KO there. Moving on to the second fight of the night, another big boy weight class here, heavyweights, which would never really start off to 3 fights in light heavyweight. They're usually later on the card, which is interesting, but probably just shows you how low level these guys are in regards to their division. But I don't think the same can be said about Juan Espino. I do rate Juan Espino. Not actually sure. He's from Spain originally. I believe he resides in Florida at the minute, but he was training with ATT. Whether he still does with lockdown and stuff, I don't know. Haven't really checked his Instagram or anything. But presuming he is, obviously training at ATT, that's a great camp. Jeff Hughes trains at a strong style, so Steep Ice camp. So him and Alexa Kamer, who's on the next fight, is coming out of that gym for this pay-per-view. Juan Espino, very good grappler, well accomplished in jiu-jitsu. His only loss comes to Vitaly Minakov. Vitaly Minakov's a hard style matchup for anyone, to be honest, but especially Espino, so that's something to hold your head in shame about there. And that was only in his 3rd professional fight against Minakov. But Juan Espino, we haven't seen him in coming up 2 years here in November, so you know, he's 39 now. This is good style matchup for him, this one, against Jeff Hughes, who is this low output boxer who tries to outwear people, and you know, he tries to basically grind them out, but you know, wear him down with his superior cardio and just gritty fight style for Jeff Hughes. But to be honest, let me just check his stats here. 1 second. I want to just see Jeff Hughes' takedown fight. So it's 75. So who took him down? Todd Duffy took him down. Can't actually remember that, but I mean, if Todd Duffy in 2019 can hit takedowns on Jeff Hughes, I would say Juan Espino does. So red flag about Juan Espino, 2-year layoff. Another red flag, he's 39 now. You know, what was he doing those 2 years off? Now Jeff Hughes, red flag for him. He hasn't beat anyone in the UFC yet. Obviously a very low output guy. You know, he doesn't come across to me as very good, Jeff Hughes, so I'm gonna go with Juan Espino. I think he can hit takedowns here. I think he can stop Jeff Hughes on the mat. I've got Juan Espino by sub. So Alexa Kamer versus William Knight. I believe I broke down the card that William Knight was fighting on for Contender Series. I'm almost sure that on YouTube. William Knight is just one of these guys that he is very stocky and he's got an insane build. You know, he's very very muscle heavy. But the thing is, he doesn't really gas out much for being a guy of that, fast twitch muscle fibers, a guy of that body type. He doesn't really gas out. He actually has good cardio, so he does, for such a big guy. We've seen that in the Hurdham fight on Contender Series. The first time William Knight was on Contender Series, he was losing that fight, and then he managed to, I believe, Hurdham took him down, and then William Knight managed to get on top and have Hurdham under him, and then it just unloaded with ground and pound. And then in the Jamal Jones fight, that was the exact same scenario. I believe it's Jamal Jones fight. He just gets these guys underneath him and just rains down heavy ground and pound. So, to be honest, if Alexa Kamor manages to get underneath William Knight, he is in a lot of trouble. No matter what. Big time trouble. But we also seen Cody Brundage, take William Knight down, and then the same thing happens. He manages to get on top through sweep, through explosive, just overpowering out of position. He manages to get on top and then just destroys with ground and pound, as I was saying. But Alex Kamor, he's a well-trained guy, fights out, as I was saying, strong style fight team, steep ice camp. He fights very long, so he does. He only has a 75-inch reach, so he has, he's a light heavyweight with the same reach as Andre Ewell, a bantamweight, but he does fight very long. I would like to see his leg reach, so I would, because he seems to have long legs, and he uses that range well with regards to his kicking game. He has decent kicking game, so he does. We've seen that in that fight. Fair enough, he slowed down, but if you watch that fight and listen to the commentary, Joe Rogan and Paul Felder, I think it was, they get on like he gassed hard. He didn't gas hard. No way did he gas hard. Gassing hard is McGregor versus Diaz 1. That's gassing hard. Alex Kamor didn't gas in that fight. He slowed down, fair enough, in the second round, I would say, about 7 minutes mark. And then, to me, he got like a second wind in the third round, and then just took the decision, because Justin Ladat is very low output guy, and he didn't put his stamp down in that fight, Justin Ladat. And Alex Kamor just outpointed him on the feet. He fought well to me. He fought smart, Alex Kamor. He has good takedown defense. He has decent wrestling. Can't see William Knight taking Alex Kamor down unless he just, he just explodes on him, maybe. But even still, I can't see him taking it down. Alex Kamor he's the bigger fighter in this one. William Knight only comes in at 5'10". Alex Kamor, he's a big 6'1", so he is. So obviously, if William Knight can't get Alex Kamor underneath him, to me anyway, Alex Kamor has the advantage on the feet here, especially if he fights long, especially in kicking game as he did against Justin Ladat. So I like Alex Kamor here. I wouldn't be out rushing to play him at the odds he is at, but at the same time, if his odds were to drop, it would be tempting. But he's kind of unproven, Alex Kamor, should I say, among decent light heavyweight opposition. But even saying that, still I like Kamor here. Another thing I want to mention is William Knight's chin. Amazing chin. I don't think he can be stopped, to be honest, by Kamor. He's just William Knight's hard guy to stop, so he is. Very hard. Seeing the Nchukwi fight, he does get stopped there, but very premature. So can't see Kamor stopping William Knight here, but I like the over here for to go over 1.5 rounds. I think you can get it even money now. Saying that, I've got Alex Kamer by decision there in that fight. So next up, Ludovic Klein versus Shane Young. Went in this fight tape study thinking that Shane Young would be decent play here. Minus 200, he's not minus 200. What's that about? It's even money now. I believe Shane Young started out as minus 200, which Topology haven't updated yet, but yeah, so Shane Young was minus 200 and Klein was plus 200, and if you got Klein there at plus 200, that's great bet, I think. A lot of value there, but the line has went down to pick him now. I think you can still get Klein as a slight dog. Let's see. I believe you can get him 11-10. You can, but his odds are dropping. So if you are going to play him now. And I can see why the line did drop, because Klein to me, very explosive guy on the feet, very good stand up, good 1-2 fights out of southpaw, decent tape up the middle and stuff. If we look at Shane Young, he's just the guy that gets hit a lot, in my opinion. He takes one to give one, but if he fights that way against Klein, don't know if he's going to be able to take the shots Klein, hits him with, because Klein is, just to me, big puncher, and he has a lot of power in those hands. So if Shane Young does decide to play that game where he takes one to give one, and then he tries to, wear people down with his cardio and his pressure, I can see Shane Young just getting hit in the first 2 rounds, so I can, while Klein is very fresh and stuff. His last 3 fights he's looked amazing, and he's 5'9" for flyweight, but he's got good size on him, so he does. Good high kick from southpaw. He knocked out your man Lucas in his last fight there, and Rodriguez with that high kick. So it is a weapon for him to use there, but if he's going to be backing up the whole time, as Shane Young likes to do in every one of his fights, the high kick won't really be there unless he can get a decent bit of distance for the kick. But Klein is tempting to play, but it's just, I need to see him against UFC level competition. He's a guy that fights out of Slovakia, and he's got a huge amount of Slovakian support. The level of competition he's faced is good. His record isn't bad or anything, and he's improved since he was on Cage Warriors and stuff. But I just need to see him against like a UFC level fighter before being tempted to play him. But Shane Young obviously has 2 wins in the UFC. He's 2-1. He lost to champ Volkanovski in his first fight, which was a hard fight there, but he rebounded with a win against Rolando Day and Austin Arnett. But to me, both of those fighters aren't in the UFC anymore, I do not believe. Yep, let me just check Arnett's record. Aye, so he's lost outside the UFC, and so has Day. So that's not good wins, to be honest, for Shane Young there. But saying that, I think those fights were handpicked for him a wee bit, because they were that one was in Australia, and then that was in, I believe that was in Malaysia or something. So there was a huge bunch of Australian fighters and stuff fighting on them. So I think it was sort of, UFC put them fights together so that Shane Young could win. But honestly, as I say, I can see Klein just hitting Shane Young with something in the first 2 rounds, and if he doesn't, he can win by decision, Klein. So I've got Ludovic Klein by TKO there I'm going to go with. Alright, next up, Diego Sanchez versus Jake Matthews. Not a whole lot has to be said about this fight. Diego Sanchez is obviously tail end of his career. Never cashed a luckier bet in my life than I did against when I had Diego Sanchez against Michel Pereira in his last outing. I just got luckier. It was a really bad bet, but I thought Diego Sanchez could outgrind him and take him down and stuff, but he obviously couldn't. And then he got the illegal knee. Somehow he got a win there, but Jake Matthews, I think this fight is put together so that he can win here. Diego Sanchez, he's obviously on a big contract from when he, came up from the UFC way back at the Ultimate Fighter 1 when he won that, but UFC kind of want to get rid of him now because he's on a decent contract and he's just washed the whole shit with Joshua Fabia and stuff. It's just a bad look because in the Michel Pereira fight he barely threw anything, and then when he did, he had, I guess, weird stance and stuff, like fingers out and all, like it was some, I don't even know what, like some anime shit or something, some karate style stance, but and then when he did come forward to try and throw, he literally just sprinted forward, like without throwing any combinations or anything. And then Joshua Fabia was telling him all this weird shit in the corner, like throw the sand and stuff, which makes no sense. So from that fight on, I wanted to fight Diego Sanchez, but I didn't think the price in his next fight was going to be fucking minus 700 for Jake Matthews. Obviously, I do think Jake Matthews gets it done here against Diego Sanchez. I'm going to say by decision, but honestly I'm not sure, because Diego Sanchez, he has been prone to getting knocked out, but I wouldn't say, I mean he does have a shaky chin, but I wouldn't say, he's very chinny, or his chin's just done. I wouldn't say that, because he took some shots in that Michel Pereira fight. So I'm going to go with Jake Matthews by decision, because historically he's been proven to be not the biggest puncher, but who knows, he may catch Diego Sanchez with something here. And interestingly enough, Jake Matthews, when he came into the UFC, he was only 5'9", so he was, and he was a lightweight. And then when he as he progressed through the UFC, he's 6 foot now, and he's a welterweight, which is interesting enough. And he's very, he has solid body type for welterweight now, so he does, as opposed to fighting at lightweight a couple of years ago. But Jake Matthews by decision there. So Brad Riddell versus Alex De Silva. So in Brad Riddell's last fight, I bet Mustafayev, which was a bad one, but it was a close fight obviously, but to me Riddell won it, so he did. 29-28. Brad Riddell and these city kickboxing guys, they're just a problem on the feet, so they are. Like Adesanya, Kara France, Volkanovski. Probably the most elite gym in the world right now for stand-up and kickboxing, especially in MMA, but as a result of that, Alex De Silva, obviously a lot of problems on the feet here, so he does. His path of victory lies in taking Brad Riddell down and grinding him out, but as with all of these city kickboxing guys, very good takedown defense, which allows them to use their stand-up game and just put these guys away and stuff and really work their stand-up game. We've seen that in Mustafayev fight. He knocks down Mustafayev in round 1, and then just any time it was on the feet, Mustafayev didn't look comfortable, which is a feather in the cap of Brad Riddell, because Mustafayev's very good, so he is. And Alex De Silva, he's coming off, it's been a year since he last fought. He beat Rodrigo Vargas in his last fight, but Rodrigo Vargas isn't great, so he isn't. So whether that's, you know, a very legitimate UFC win there, I don't know, it remains to be seen. But saying that, De Silva isn't a bad fighter. He is well rounded. He sort of lacks in the wrestling department, but he's decent grappling. And he has okay stand up, but obviously the advantage goes to Brad Riddell there, which is why he is the minus 325 favourite, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. The lane was always going to be weight, so it was, because of Brad Riddell's last win against Mustafayev. I'm not surprised at the lane, to be honest, but obviously if you've got Brad Riddell there, I'm going to say by decision. I think De Silva can be durable enough to stay in it for 15 minutes, and then Brad Riddell's just going to piece him up on the feet for me anyway. So next up, Hakeem Dawodu versus Zubara Tukov. So it's an interesting fight. To me, it comes down to whether Tukov can keep Dawodu down for a prolonged period of time and obviously outpoint him through that avenue, but I don't think he can, because Dawodu, in all of his UFC fights, anytime he gets taken down, such as Bokniak 2 years ago, such as Julio Arce, he gets up within a matter of 30 seconds. I know, obviously Tukov is better wrestler than both of these fighters, but even still, Dawodu does have very good stand-up, very good takedown defense and get-up game, which might mitigate Tukov from that path of victory. Obviously, allowing Dawodu to work his better stand-up game. To me anyway, Dawodu has better stand-up game overall than Tukov. And going off UFC, just obviously strikes landed per minute and strikes absorbed per minute. Dawodu has twice as many strikes landed per minute than Tukov, so he does. Can see this one going to the judges' scorecards, so I can, and Dawodu winning this close decision. I think Tukov has to get Dawodu down here, sort of, because I think if he doesn't, Tukov is going to be in somewhat trouble, because Dawodu just walks these people down and just works his kicking game, his stand-up game, and just really puts it on them. To me, he's a guy that you want to bet, so he is, because just of his fighting style. I got him at 7-2 to win by decision against Julio Arce, so it is, in his last fight, which was crazy odds. That was a great bet, but I don't know how that was a split decision, to be honest, because I thought he comfortably won that one. But as I say, I can see Tukov having problems with taking Dawodu down, and then Dawodu just outworking him on the feet. He has a 5-inch reach advantage. He has better strikes landed per minute on UFC stats. And to me, Tukov has holes in his game. Cardio, stand-up game, it's okay. It's not bad, but you know, and thirdly, he sort of has a problem of keeping these guys down. He constantly tried to take Lerone Murphy down. He couldn't for a prolonged period of time. He couldn't take Moicano down, which is 2 out of his last 3 fights there. So as I say, I like Dawodu here, especially as the underdog, and I think he wins in a decision. So Ketlin Vieira versus Sijara Eubanks. Sijara is quick turnaround here. She just fought Julio Avila there about 11 days ago. Yeah, 11 days ago. Where she just grinded it out. It was weird because I didn't think Julio Avila would be the one to start off strong, and then end up losing rounds 2 and 3. I thought it was going to be Eubanks, like starting out strong, because throughout her career she's won round 1 every time. I'm almost sure, apart from the Aspen Ladd rematch. I think so anyway. So obviously Eubanks, historically a strong starter, but not in her last fight. I think she sort of sorted out her cardio, like her bad cardio game. I think she sort of leveled that out. We've seen it against Avila. She just outworked her. She took Avila down. Whenever it was on the feet, Avila after the first round just very slow down and stuff, and Eubanks just put it on her. But Ketlen Vieira is different kettle of fish for me anyway. This was the woman who was slated to fight Nunes after she beat Aldana back there at UFC 245. Like, she was meant to be the next bantamweight contender, and I think that was fair enough assumption, because from all of her UFC fights she's put together a very good, mixed martial arts game, very well rounded anyway. She's good wrestling, good stand-up game. She just comes forward and puts it on these ladies, especially with her pressure, and I don't know, she puts a lot of combinations up against the behind the black lines and stuff on these women that they end up just wearing them down. We've seen in the McMahon fight, she wanted nothing to do with Ketlen Vieira's stand-up game, and then so did Kat Zingano, to be honest. She tried to take Vieira down at any will she could, and I don't know how that was a split decision, because to me it was clear that Vieira won it. Maybe she lost the third round. I don't know. I'm comfortable with either Vieira 30-27 or 29-28 in that one, but to me it should have been unanimous. It was fairly clear. Obviously she's coming off her first loss of her career against Renee Aldana, where she could just get clean knocked out with a left hook in that one. She was coming forward a lot and not having her hands up much, which is obviously a concern, and then Aldana just put the lights out and followed up with vicious ground and pound. But it's Eubanks does have a good left hook. She's very sharp boxing. I think her boxing's actually underrated, especially when she's fresh. Her boxing's underrated. And then when she gasses, obviously her technique sort of goes out the window. But honestly, Vieira is the much bigger bantamweight here. She has very big bantamweight for women's 135. Comes in at 5'8", but she's very well filled out against Eubanks, who is a natural flyweight. Obviously had a hard time making the scale there and moved up a weight class, which suits her better, to be honest. But to me, she is not the biggest bantamweight. Anyway, she's 5'4" with 67-inch reach. Vieira is 5'8" with 68-inch reach. So I think in clinch exchanges, Vieira can win because of her size. And then Vieira's stand-up game, she's just going to be putting Eubanks on the back foot. And when fighters are on the back foot for the majority of the fight, they tend to gas out because of the pressure and stuff and the unrelenting cardio, especially from a woman like Ketlen Vieira. So whether Eubanks' cardio game has been leveled out or not, we shall see in this fight, especially in regards to Vieira's pressure and stuff. I think it may get the Eubanks. and I can just see Vieira outworking Eubanks on the feet here for 15 minutes. But I'll be honest, Eubanks is a fighter that I have, I've just faded before, and it's went against me. So I'm not comfortable with doing it again. I think this fight will be good for live bet, but I like Ketlin Vieira here by decision. So next main card fight, Kai Kara-France versus Brandon Royval. Men's flyweight division. So Kai Kara-France undefeated in UFC so far. He is 4-1. His only loss coming to future, I would say, title challenger Brandon Moreno, where Brandon Moreno's pressure and boxing sort of got to Kai Kara-France, who relies on being just in and out fighter and out moving these guys. Just he's another city kickboxing guy who will try to utilize his movement against his opponents and outpoint them with his superior striking across 15 minutes. And to be honest, Brandon Royval is striking remains to be seen whether it's on par with some of these top flyweights such as Kai Kara-France. Kai Kara-France does get hit a bit on the feet, but he has really good chin, so he does, and he takes one to give one. But he's very smart with his with his striking defense and stuff. He has good strikes landed per minute, and decent strikes absorbed per minute for a flyweight anyway, so he does. But Brandon Royval, his striking isn't all there for me yet anyway. He is a jiu-jitsu guy, submission grappler, who has problems with taking these fighters down. We've seen that in the Casey Kenny fight. Casey Kenny, not a known good striker, actually dropped Brandon Royval in that one. And then, because Royval was just wild on the feet, so he was, and then he just got caught coming into combination. Casey Kenny just counter-struck him and caught him and dropped him, and got on top of him with his grappling game, and then just across 5 rounds just stayed on top of him really and outworked him. His only win on UFC, or inside the UFC should I say, came against Tim Elliott, but that was weird because Tim Elliott was taking Brandon Royval down and in the process just gassed himself out. And Tim Elliott was, I want to say he was coming off a injury in that fight because he was in the Askarov fight. I know for a fact he was injured going in that fight, and then he might have been carrying it in the Royval fight, I don't know, but he obviously just outwilled Tim Elliott in that one and ended up subbing him with an arm triangle in round 2. Brandon Royval did. But to be honest, if you look at Kai Kara-France's tape, he's small guy that's very hard to take down, and I don't mean small in a bad way. I mean it's hard to get under him. It's hard to get underneath his hips to take him down with double leg shots and stuff. Very good takedown defense. I can't see Brandon Royval working his submission grappling game and taking Kai Kara-France down here. I can't see it, so I can see Kai Kara-France outworking him on the feet. Either Brandon Royval rushing in and Kai Kara-France counter striking him, catching him something and dropping him like Casey Kenny did, or Kai Kara-France just fighting on the outside as he does most likely. The most likely outcome in this fight is Kai Kara-France fighting on the outside and just using his movement to stay out of takedown range of Royval and just outworking him on the feet for 15 minutes and getting the decision victory. So obviously I like Kai Kara-France here by decision. Alright, next up, Dominic the Devastator Reyes versus Jan Blachowicz for the vacant light heavyweight championship. Obviously John Jones has vacated that title, and Reyes and Blachowicz have been the first to the first fighters UFC selected to fight for the vacant championship. And before I break down the actual fight stylistically and stuff, something worth mentioning is Dominic Reyes, in interviews and stuff leading up to this fight, has talked about he would have liked more time in preparation for this fight, because obviously John Jones only made the announcement that he was vacating the light heavyweight title and stuff a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to say both fighters are coming in here on less than a month's notice, maybe. And Dominic Reyes was making it clear that he needed more time to drop weight and stuff, because he was a bit heavy. Like, just out of camp, obviously, before this fight was scheduled. And obviously, while he was in the works, he was still heavy, and he asked for more time. Obviously, in preparation for this fight, which is always interesting. And then another red flag to me, anyway, is Dominic Reyes in interviews for this fight basically proclaimed himself as the 205-pound champion before this fight has even took place. But to me, he lost that Jones fight. So he did. He lost at 40-47, and I thought it was. I mean, it was close, but I thought it was clear enough, to be honest, that Jones won that. He won the last 3 rounds. He won the last 3 rounds of my scorecard. So he did, and I live bet him in round 3, I think it was, at a decent price. So it was clear to me that Dominic Reyes lost that fight anyway, but obviously it was close. But to come out and say that he's the 205-pound champion and stuff before he's even fought Jan, it's a bit embarrassing. Maybe he's overlooking Jan here, so he is. And Jan Blachowicz is someone that is not to be overlooked, to me anyway. And a few fighters, in my opinion, have been guilty of overlooking Jan. Luke Rockhold is one of them. Corey Anderson, another one, in the rematch. Luke Rockhold, in obviously the first fight of his career up at light heavyweight, he came in as like minus 200 favourite, minus 230, I think I've closed that or something like that. And to me, he overlooked Jan Blachowicz, and then Jan Blachowicz absolutely ran over him, so he did. But to me, obviously it's got nothing to do with Blachowicz, but just speaking about Luke Rockhold for a second, that was a very hard fight for Luke Rockhold to take. Coming up to light heavyweight, up a division, up 20 pounds against Jan Blachowicz. So feel sorry for Luke Rockhold there. He just got thrown to the wolves. But Jan obviously looked very good. He looked very strong. To me, I think there's some substance to some people referring to this as Jan 2.0, because to me it is. He's added a lot of different weapons to his game. One being obviously the left hook that he caught Rockhold with and he knocked him out with, and then just he's put on a decent bit of size, Blachowicz, for me anyway. He looks much bigger. See if you go watch Jan Blachowicz against Corey Anderson in the first fight, he doesn't look as big and as buff as he does now, and that might be down to Jan Blachowicz going back to his original head coach that was his head coach during his KSW days, and then they had a falling out or something and they parted ways, but they're back together now, and maybe his recent success is down to that, this partnership coming back between him and his former head coach. Obviously they have a lot of chemistry. If Jan Blachowicz, he got to the dance by being under the tutelage of this head coach that brought him up to the KSW days. But when you're talking about value, and a lot of people talk about it in the MMA betting world, 2 words I would say for the next couple of cards anyway. 2 words: Jan Blachowicz. I think, because to me, Jan Blachowicz, within a matter of days, he's probably going to hit 250, plus 250. and to me that's crazy. I think it should be a pick-em fight. Dominic Reyes, obviously a fast starter, very athletic guy, very fast guy for the season, 6'4", and it's just his movement's very good. He's very quick on the feet. He moves about like a welterweight or something, but he does slow down, Dominic Reyes, and he has been prone to take leg kicks. We've seen that in the Volkan fight. Volkan chewed up his legs while it was at kicking range. And one of Jan Blachowicz' best weapons, as I was saying, he has added a few weapons on. One of the weapons he's added on is leg kicks. When he's fighting this orthodox fighter, he goes with the inside leg kick. And same when he's orthodox and his opponent is southpaw, such as Dominic Reyes does, or such as Dominic Reyes is. He also likes the rear leg inside leg kick, so the right foot into the lead right leg of Dominic Reyes, and then Blachowicz, another weapon he's added on is switching to southpaw. And he likes the kick where he's at southpaw. He likes the low calf kick, which is a weapon here he can use. What fight did he use that in? I think it was the Rockhold. It was the Rockhold one. He switched to southpaw a few times and then start hitting that low calf kick on Rockhold, and Rockhold, a known kicker, reacted badly to it, so he didn't like how Rockhold didn't. You know, and I think that is an option. I think he can switch it up and fight at southpaw here and work at the low calf kick of Reyes, who's very heavy on his lead leg, I would say. Maybe not very heavy, but you know, he comes across as a boxing stance, so he does, Dominic Reyes, which leaves him open to the leg kicks. So I think a path to victory for Blachowicz is surviving the early onslaught of Dominic Reyes, because he's a known fast starter. He started fast against Jones, Ozdemir, OSP, and so on. So path to victory, obviously, as I say, Blachowicz surviving the early onslaught, and then working, you know, overpowering Reyes with his superior cardio, with his leg kicks, and then just, you know, chipping away at Reyes. And to be honest, if Reyes gets wild, as he does, because if you watch tape of Reyes, he keeps his right hand very low, which means that the left hook will be open for Blachowicz. His best weapon is his left hook, so the left hook's going to be open for Blachowicz because Reyes carries his right hand so low, and he's always in and out with movement, and he's very high output guy, especially the first 2 rounds. Left hook may be open for Blachowicz. So there's no way for me I could bet Reyes, but I don't even like Reyes to win this fight. I think Jan wins it, to be honest, and if he hits plus 250, to me that's plenty of value there, and it's one of those ones where if he wins and he closes 250 or more, I'm going to regret it so much, because I do think Jan wins here. I think he has paths to victory in wrestling, especially if Reyes slows down, you know, just general clinch work, working his leg kicks on the feet, and then thirdly, just overpowering Reyes with his cardio game, especially if Reyes slows down, as he historically has done. So to be honest, I like Blachowicz here. I'm going to go with TKO as a result of leg kicks adding up, and then just Reyes' movement and stamina just being done, and then Blachowicz just catching him with something, because Jan 2.0, his cardio game is good. He doesn't slow down anymore. He used to, but he doesn't anymore. So as I say, I like Jan there. I'm going to say by TKO, but I'm not sure. So the big one, Israel Adesanya and Paulo Costa. Now, if you follow me on Twitter and stuff, you know I love the Eraser, but I like him because of his fight style. He just brings it. He's the most entertaining guy in the UFC to watch anyway. Maybe apart from like McGregor or whatever on those type of nights, but stylistically the most entertaining guy to watch in the UFC. And in the Romero fight, I live bet Costa. They were doing live methods in that one. I got him at 7-2 in round 2 by decision. So I did 7-2 by decision against Romero, which obviously came through for me. But the thing is, why Paulo Costa won that Romero fight was Romero just standing behind the black lines, flat-footed, which is where you don't want to be against Paulo Costa, who does most of his best work when his opponent is behind the black lines, and you know, just accumulates body shots, hooks to the head. A lot of people shit on Paulo Costa for having short arms. He does have short arms, but they work in his favour, especially when he has failures, as I say, up against the cage. He really digs in with his arms and generates a lot of power when going to the body with hooks and stuff to the head and body. Because his arms are so short, he can generate a lot of torque in them, which is why we see him finish a lot of guys with body shots. We've seen him finish Johnny Hendricks with body shots, and then we've seen him finish Uriah Hall also with a left hook to the body. So that's one of his weapons. But when you're talking about Adesanya, you're talking about one of the best kickboxers we've ever seen in MMA. One of these city kickboxing guys that obviously uses his movement and his length to stay out of danger of his opponent. We've never seen him, apart from the Gastelum fight, maybe, be up against the cage. So Gastelum just caught him. He just caught Adesanya a few times. Obviously, he did give 2 rounds to Adesanya in that one, or the Gastelum in that one, but I think Adesanya just have difficulty with Gastelum's boxing and stuff. So to me, the same isn't the same for Paulo Costa. I think Adesanya can stay out of range of Costa and really, utilize his length, his 8-inch reach advantage, and just not be put in a dangerous position by Paulo Costa. And just survive the early onslaught. And actually, to be honest, I don't even think Adesanya will be in much trouble in this fight, to be honest. I just think he's better fighter on the feet. He's going to utilise his range. He's going to work his far better movement than Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa doesn't really cut fighters off against the cage that well. He just comes forward a lot, and they end up just breaking. So I like Adesanya here. I just think it's a good fight for him. I can see why he's this big of a favourite. And to be honest, I think the line's alright. Don't mind the line. I actually think that Romero is a dangerous style matchup, a more dangerous style matchup for Adesanya and Paulo Costa, to me anyway, because Romero, he's a counter striker predominantly, and Romero baited Adesanya to come in and engage with Romero on his terms, and he ended up catching Adesanya a few times. He ended up catching him at the end of round 1 and stunning Adesanya, and then again in round, I'm gonna say 5, I think it was, just through that style, obviously. But if you're coming forward on Adesanya, we've seen a few fighters do it. We've seen Gastelum do it, and he obviously get pieced up at times, but he did have success. And then we've seen Whittaker do it. He done the same thing. He just came forward, and Adesanya just caught him with counter striking and just knocked him out. And then we obviously seen Bronson do it, and he just got put out in 1 round. So I like Adesanya here, and I think he does get it done. I think he wins by TKO here. I just think the range, the movement, and the distance is too much for Paulo Costa, but this is a fight I've been looking forward to more than any fight before. or sorry, this year should I say, maybe in the last 2 years even. But I do think it's good faith for Israel Adesanya, and expecting to defend his belt here and take on the next challenger. But it's going to be a great fight. So that's the card wrapped up there. If you want to join on the service, fire me a DM across on Twitter. Link will be in the description. Good luck with your bets. Can't wait for the card. It's a good one. But to be honest, the undercard is sort of underwhelming. But it is what it is. The top two fights don't have to be explained. They sell on themselves. So I'll see you on the next one. I'll be back next week for... what card is this? Oh, Home Aldana. Be back for that one. Hopefully anyway. Alright, so see you soon.